Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this world. This is Hajan Lee with a morning update for Bitcoin. All right, we actually got even a slightly lower low. So let's move these a little bit. Actually, let's get them out of the view for now. So we had a symmetrical triangle, which pretty much marked wave 4. And therefore we have 1. Could this be 2? Okay. And then I think 3 will be the one that'll take it down to the low 7,000. And again, if you look at it from here, we saw the bear flag, right? And this bear flag just took it down. Now, I also see, I'll make this purple as well, right here, a bear flag, small one. Do the size of the pattern have any impact in the proportion of the price movement? Yes, absolutely they do. So as you can see, this was quite large and it brought the price well below its origin of the bear flag. Now the origin of the bear flag is here and the price declined below it there as well. So let's zoom in for a little bit. So if this is the bear flag, then price usually comes and tries to touch the underside, the belly side of the lower trend line, and then usually declines again. So this bear flag, because it is pointing upwards, why is it a bear flag? Well, let's look at this one. Here, the buyers were more abundant than the sellers. And they bought, kept buying, and then the buyers are decreasing while the would-be sellers became more abundant at this stage and took the price down. It's always a seesaw between the buyers and the sellers. So consider it that way. That's why when it's pointing upwards, it's bearish. It has bearish connotations. So implications rather, sorry. And here we have red wave 5 that we're expecting. And if that's correct, then we should be able to label this as wave 1 is done, wave 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let me just fix the degree of trend. Certainly this is not years or multi-years. And everything here is going to shift to the right. Why? Because time is elapsed. That's why. So we probably have a few more days to go, I think. It's just going to be a slow churning and grinding down. However, since this is wave 3, I think it'll be a little more rapid, more quick. And 3 will probably be the most extended, although 1 is pretty long here too. Now I have the 5 somewhere in the 6,800 zone. Yes, and I discussed as to why yesterday. The 0.78 is at around 71, 7,200. And I believe the price will just pierce on a wick, price wick wise, down to this level, maybe even slightly lower than that. A panic piercing to get rid of the flush out the last remaining would-be sellers or the weekends, to divest the weekends. So I think this makes it a little more cleaner and more updated, but the direction that I've been talking about is still correct. Remember, as an analyst, It's not important that you got the position of the wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and 5 correct. What's more important is the direction of the price movement that you have. All right, here. Again, back to why I think it'll go to maybe 6,800 also is because remember yesterday I discussed how these support clusters are sapping the seller strength, and this third one probably will stab down into the middle region, which is around 6,800, middle of this support cluster. And that may even bring us to 0.88 instead of 0.78 if that does occur. But I think this is quite mature in that the bull flag on the bigger picture here is pretty mature. And if that's the case, then whatever last remaining spike that we may have downwards to the 6,800 or so should happen within the next day or so, a couple of days, or 3 days at the most, let's say. Now, for those of you who have been going, hurrah, yay, 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 oh brother, what's going on? Okay, well, that's an emotion. This is an emotional roller coaster. However, if you're aware of the bigger picture, if you are aware of the analysis and the uh, um, resulting direction change that's going to be expected, I think it doesn't really become much of a roller coaster. You just become just aware, and you don't rely on the fear and the greed, but rather the discipline and the patience. I still believe that the MACD is looking bullish, very bullish in my opinion. There is only a limited amount of time, probably until June 11th, 12th, maybe if you want to go really close to the apex, the 16th or so, where the MACD was still well abiding by the boundaries set by the contracting lines of the symmetrical triangle pattern. And there's a bit of a divergence while price from here has been declining. This is just wiggling and squiggling between the narrowing space. And soon it won't even be able to move, and price will almost flatline if it has to. And volume should decline too with that also. But I think this is more on the terminal end of this correction than the beginning or even the middle end. And here's a much longer picture. So I'm taking you guys from the short, medium to longer term only to give you that scope or perspective, to give you that awareness that, I see that the correction could fill the handle position. And if that's the case, this should turn up soon, and the MACD, even in this much longer term perspective, looks very bullish. I think this is what just a temporary corrective move. It could be a cup and handle as well, and the fact that it's combining with this downward bullish wedge, and now a bullish cup and handle makes it that much more bullish. So I think a price turn can be expected. Is it guaranteed? Nothing is guaranteed. Am I guaranteeing this price turn? No, no, not at all. Because this is a analysis, technical analysis based on probability principle and not a certainty principle. And if you know of anyone who knows and has an analysis based on the certainty principle and that works, let me know. I'd love to find out. So no, this is not a guarantee. This is a projection in the direction of the price based on the analysis that I presented. Okay, I hope you found this to be helpful. I hope this augments your due diligence so that you can make better decision makings in your trades and your investments for cryptocurrencies. Have a wonderful Monday.